soldiers. No one came to my house. Still waiting. Before we dive into our program, I want to do a couple of things. One, I wanted to first really big thank yous. It takes a lot to pull this event together. And so I'm going to do some really big thank yous, particularly this event this year with all the different challenges we've had. The second is I'm going to lead you into a little bit of a meet and greet, okay? So I'm going to kind of practice that and have you do it as well. And thirdly, I'm just going to share a little bit about what our Office of Social Justice here at Red has been doing since the last time we stood before you. So, you guys okay with that? All right. So, again, everyone has a program. I want you to have you look at those programs and look at those things. Let's take a look at it. And, I want to, again, just not to name all of them, I just want to take a moment to thank every particular individual or organization on that program. And, I'll just start, again, I'm just going to start with today, and then I'll just do some more thank yous going forward in that program. First, I just want to really give a big thank you to Kevin, Mr. Kevin from the facilities. Kevin here? Let's give a round of applause, Kevin. I don't know the exact time Kevin got here. Kevin got an email like over a week, but I know it was broke to get those folks, to get everything right in this building so it can be safe and that we can be here. So thank you for that, Kevin. I want to thank the round of applause for our school service folks. Again, round of applause for them. They got here early, and they made sure that we had breakfast here and without a hiccup. And finally, a really big thank you to our DBW. Again, round of applause for them. They early this morning got here, shoveled out the driveway, out the parking lot, made sure the sidewalks were very clear for us to be safe. So thank you, big thank yous for those folks, because again, nothing happens without them and their work. And also, just last big thank yous, I want to thank the planning team, and I was going to do some big thank yous at the end. Some really big thank yous to our planning team. So I'm just going to have, they're here in the room, throw your hand up, okay? And I'm going to put them on the spot. So, Sharella, where are you? Reggie, where are you? Linda, where are you? Carol, where are you? Auntie Dad, where are you? Andy, where are you? And Tristan, are you there? Tristan, are you here? And she sent me an email last night to say she's coming from Boston, but she may not be able to make it. But again, let's give a quick round of applause. So, I want you to do something. I'm practicing now and have you do it in a moment, okay? So, it's a little bit deep. So, it goes like this. Hi, my name is Albert Pless. Good morning, nice to meet you. Okay? So, I'm going to have you now do that with someone in this room that you do not know preferably, okay? So, I'm going to have you get up, and I'm going to have you introduce yourself to someone preferably that you do not know. And it's fine if you know the person.
Hi, Chris Ayling. Nice to meet you. Andrea, nice to meet you. I've seen you before.
Hi.
Chris Ayling.
I'm going to introduce myself.
Savannah,
Hi.
say hi.
What's your name? I'm Sandy. Good morning.
We're both S's.
Great. Do you like the snow? Yeah.
Don't look at
okay.
me.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are things?
All right, thank you.
Good.
Good morning. I'm Sandy.
Andrea?
Andrea?
Yes.
Hi, Andrea. Good to meet you. How well do you know Alfred? Have you spent much time with him?
I had like an hour meeting when he first got hired.
I've had an hour meeting with him as well.
Yeah.
Just scratching the surface.
No, Albert's been great. He's very responsive, sends emails all the time. So.
You know, for one one thing that I will say about him is that what I've noticed is that he's above the fray. He understands that a lot of people operate out of fear.
Yeah.
And he's able, at least himself, to get past that. So.
Oh yeah. No.
There's a perfect personality for his post.
Sudeshna was great too when she was here. Sudeshna was great.
I didn't know her.
Oh.
Yeah. Kind of came in after. Anyway, nice to see you.
Good to see you.
So, how was that? Go ahead if you met someone new today, you didn't know. Right. What it's all about.
potent weapon available to oppress people in their struggle for freedom and justice. I feel that violence will only create more social problems than they will solve. That in a real sense it is impractical for the Negro to even think of mounting a violent revolution in the United States. So I will continue to condemn riots and continue to say to my brothers and sisters that this is not the way. Continue to affirm that there is another way. But at the same time, it is as necessary for me to be as vigorous in condemning the conditions which cause persons to feel that they must engage in riotous activities as it is for me to condemn riots. I think America must see that riots do not develop out of thin air. Certain conditions continue to exist in our society, which must be condemned as vigorously as we condemn riots. In the final analysis, a riot is the language of the unheard. What is it that America has failed to hear? It has failed to hear that the plight of the Negro poor has worsened over the last few years. It has failed to hear that the promises of freedom and justice have not been met. It has failed to hear that large segments of white society are more concerned about tranquility and the status quo than about justice, equality, and humanity. And so in a real sense, our nation's summers of riots are caused by our nation's winters of delay. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
pleasure that students of color and allies for equity, justice, and inclusion present a video from Martin Luther King Jr. I don't know, we're gonna switch that. We would like to bring back Mr. Albert Pless, Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, to the town of Reading, who will tell you a little bit about our guest speaker, AP remarks, introduction. Oh, that's not. Ralph, let's.
All about flexibility, right? So we want to just make sure we're trying to be confident that our keynote speaker has to leave a little early today. So we want to switch the program up a little bit and have him come up, and then we're going to have our SOCA students present their piece right after. Okay? You guys okay with that? Okay, so it's not often that you get an opportunity to have someone come up that you know, got to know and really have admired in terms of his words. And so Ralph Bledsoe is someone I met when I was doing some work in Andover. You know, it's not someone that just, you know, when he was speaking, I was like, oh, man, I'd love to have him, whatever. You know, so when we were planning our MLK event this year, he just rose right to the top of our list in regards to having him come be our keynote speaker. And so I'm just going to read his bio, which is in your program, and then I'm just going to have him come up. Okay? Ralph Bledsoe is originally from Los Angeles. He attended Northfield Mount Herman School and the University of Southern California. He now teaches physics and chemistry at Andover High School. That is ranked in the top 5.4 of public high schools. At Andover, he works with international teachers yearly from the Fulbright TA program at UMass Lowell, showing them the U.S. education system in Andover. He's also chair of the nominations and elections committee for the Andover Teachers Association Teachers Union. He's a clerk at the Andover Baptist Church and a vice chair of the Council on Aging Board for the Robb Center and Elder Services. He won Massachusetts State House Award by Excellence on the Hill for delivering King I Have a Dream speech for the Four Corners of Massachusetts, and now is on the North Andover Celebrates African American History Month task force. So if I can bring Ralph Bledsoe up to before you to give his remarks for our 2025 okay? This is a wonderful event. My goodness. civil rights in America. Reverend Dr. King once said, "Take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. When stepping in a new experience," this is my words now, when stepping into a new experience, it is my hope that your reasoning, your motivation to do what is right, what is good, will help you develop the faith to take your first steps. Well, it is time to hear from Dr. King. He read most of this speech that moved from describing the past to describing present day 1963. But when it came to the future, he could not be held by the written word. The famous singer Mahalia Jackson was behind him during his speech, urging, "Tell him about the dream, Mike. Tell him about the dream." And so Reverend King looked up from the page and began to preach extemporaneously to America about his dream for America, much as a prophet might. Eight score years ago, the great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today, signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a red beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. Came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 162 years later, the Negro still is not free. 162 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 162 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 162 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds herself in exile in her own land
that in spite of the spectacular strides in science and technology, and still unlimited ones to come, something basic is missing. There's a sort of poverty among the spirit of which stands in glaring contrast to our scientific and technological abundance.
The richer we have become materially, the poorer we have become morally and spiritually. We have learned to fly the air like birds and swim the sea like fish, but we have not learned the simple art of living together as brothers.
If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they hadn't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest for right. And so just as I say, we aren't going to let dogs or water hoses turn us around. We aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. We are going on.
All that I've said is that we must work for peace, for racial justice, for economic justice, for the brotherhood the world over. We have inherited a big house, a great world house in which we have to live together. Blacks and whites, Easterns and Westerns, Gentiles and Jews, Protestants and Catholics, Muslims and Hindu. If we all learn to do this, we, in the real sense, will remain awake through the Great Revolution.
So that the struggle of the Negro is a part of this great struggle all over the world. A struggle on the part of the people, oppressed people in general, and the Negro in America in particular, is not something that will suddenly disappear. Realism impels us to admit that the struggle will continue until justice becomes a reality.
But the great question, basic question in the face of all this, is this question: how will struggle be waged? How will the oppressed peoples of the world wage their struggle against the forces of injustice, the forces of oppression?
We must work passionately and unrelentingly for the goal of freedom, but we must be sure that our hands are clean in the struggle. We must never struggle with falsehood, hate, or malice. We must never become bitter. I know how we feel sometimes. There is a danger that those of us who have been forced so long to stand amid the tragic midnight of oppression, those of us who have been trampled over, those of us who have been kicked about, there is a danger that we will become bitter. But if we will become bitter and indulge in hate campaigns, the new order, which is emerging, will be nothing but a duplication of the old order.
If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that he who is greatest among you shall be your servant. That's a new definition of greatness. By giving that definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics and physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love, and you can be that servant.
We would like to thank everyone for coming today to celebrate this momentous occasion with us. Just out of curiosity, how many people came here from Reading, if you don't mind raising your hands? How many people from Boston? How many people from Woburn?
got them for one more year, they're on the juniors. So, again, a bunch of quick thank yous. Again, I want to look at that page in the back. Nothing happens without leadership. So I want to call a special thank you out to our town manager, Matt Morales, who just weighed in. And then nothing happens without leadership. Superintendent, Pablo
Thank you for watching.